Okay, Rachel, are you ready to go?
Yes.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I thought you knew.
Phil, aren't you supposed to be running the show? Which guest have we got?
Don't make me the boss of stuff.
You're the boss of stuff.
Let's wing it.
And go.
Hi, welcome to the This Is My Voice podcast.
The podcast where we discuss all things voice performance and talk to some of the industry's best and brightest talent.
We're your hosts, Rachel Salas.
And Eddie Bye.
So, Eddie, you're not much of a gamer.
I used to play a lot of Halo.
I'm a little bit more in touch, but we don't have a lot of gaming voices on our podcast. I think it's about time we have a chat with someone who knows what they're talking about. So today we are chatting with Anthony Franke.
Oh, wow. Somebody who knows what they're talking about. That's, wow. I didn't know that was me, but thank you.
Before we even get started, tell us about yourself. How did you get into acting, and then how did you move from on-screen into, video game and animation voices?
I got into acting because I just thought, what is it I want to do? And at the time, I really, I couldn't see myself doing anything else. So I had started auditioning. I got myself an agent, and they had found me because I was working as a karaoke DJ MC in this club in Los Angeles. And they said, "Wow, you sing like a bird." That's what they said to me. I don't really sing like a bird, but I do sing a little. And they said, "We'd like to represent you." I was pretty young at the time. I think I was 16 or 17. Probably shouldn't have been. I think I was legally not allowed to be working at that club. And they started sending me out auditions. I went to many auditions through many years, got small parts on General Hospital, Married with Children, Earth Angel, Bodies of Evidence, a bunch of different little things here and there. And then on one day, I landed 2 parts, but I had to choose between them. One was a part in the movie Serial Mom, which was a John Waters film. And the other one was the California Dreams sitcom. And I had to choose between the 2 of them because they were filming at the same, the sitcom was just going to be filming. And then it happened to be that John Waters' film was going to be filming during the time the sitcom would be filming. So I had to make a choice. I chose the sitcom because I was like, hey, this could go 1 year, it could go 10. Who knows? We ended up going 5, which was great. Good run. And it was a very popular show at the time. They won't stream it for some reason now. I think it has something to do with permissions because we had and residuals because we had all original music. So there's a lot of musicians and people to pay beyond just the actors. So we're trying to figure out why it won't stream. But anyway, so did that. I was good to myself in the sense that I partied like a rock star during and after being on that show. So much so that I had to step away. I think it took a bit for me to reach a level of maturity where I went, I'm not mature enough to handle this anymore. I'm going to end up dead. So, a little morbid turn there. But so I had to actually extricate myself from the business and just walk away. So that's when I got into working in video games. And then I went to Activision, worked there for a while, then went to Ion Storm in Dallas. And that's where I did, Activision, I did a bunch of parts, small little parts on different games here and there. And then Iron Storm, they asked me to do JC Denton. So it was all quite a happy accident. I just happened to be, it's kind of like being there with Peter Sellers or Forrest Gump or whatever. Like I just happened to be at the right place at the right time for some things. And I'm hoping, that happens again. I'm at the right time, and sometime again in the near future, I'm at the right time at the right place. We'll talk. Happy accident. At the same time, I did work my ass off to get that ball rolling to get into those accidents.
Well, nothing is an accident, is it really? I mean, I think the hard work and dedication and aptitude to deal with that industry for as long as you did in those early days obviously counts for a lot because, while you kept going, millions of other people gave up. That's what it boils down to, I think.
You've done animation voices and you've done video games. So what's the difference with the process?
Okay, well, with anything animated, you usually have a script. The script is there. You say it, you do it. That's it. With the video game process, you have branches because in a video game, and I actually worked on the game Deus Ex as well as a quality assurance lead. As well as doing the voice of JC and Paul and a few others. the choices that you make determine which branch of dialogue you're getting next. So the dialogue you're choosing to use, it gives you a choice, determines the next course of action or the state that your game's going to be in, because you decided to either be a D-head or a nice guy. So it just depends. But that's mainly the difference, is that there's many pathways. I think on an animated feature, you would have basically the script. On Deus Ex, which is a certain amount of lines and it's a certain amount of time. On Deus Ex, I think I did 14,000. There was 14,000 lines of dialogue because of the many different branches. It took us months and months to do.
Oh, wow. Like, you'd have to be so dedicated for it. How many months does that on average take?
Because I was working on the game as well, this was in Dallas, Texas, I was actually pretty much living at the studio. So I would work on the game during the day as the QA project, quality assurance project lead for our studio. And then when that ended, we'd go into the sound studio at Ion Storm and spend till 2, 3 in the morning doing voiceovers.
How did your voice hold up? Do you have any tricks?
Luckily, the voice of JC was no matter how bad I got, it just kind of felt the same as the voice I had made up to begin with. So it just kind of, no matter how much work we did, there was that. It's almost kind of like how it is now, except a little bit more stern because, like I said, I'm coming off being cold. Yeah, so it kind of lent itself to the destruction of the vocal cords, basically lent itself to the character at a certain point, even though I had already went there. But it was just because we had just had to cram so much in all at once. And it took us many months to do all of it completely.
When I teach, the students always go, "Oh, what do you do when you're sick?" And I've got my own theory, but I want to ask you. So I'll go, Jay, you're coming off of a bit of a cold. If you're going to walk into the studio to do 6 hours of video game voicing, reading thousands of lines, how do you look after the voice?
Well, first of all, I'm going to try to postpone it. That's the first thing. I'm going to ask and say, hey, can we do this a week from now or 2 weeks from now? Usually they'll be like, oh, you're sick? No problem. Because one, they don't want me to come in and get other people sick. So usually it's not a problem. If that can't be done and no, we're in a rush and we got to do this, I just drink basically hot water, flavored hot water. I'll dunk a tea bag for a little bit, tiny bit of honey, tiny bit of lemon, and just drink that just nonstop. And also gargling with a little bit of ouzo sometimes. If you're feeling the throat's feeling really bad, take a little ouzo, gargle with it for a little bit, and then get on the tea a little bit. And I just feel so much better and looser. I don't have any ouzo anymore. I've just had a bunch of surgery and liquor cabinets empty, whatever. Anyway, but that was a thing I would do. It was just get a shot of ouzo, gargle with it when the throat wasn't feeling well enough to work. Then drink tea. Yeah, that's pretty. And then pound half the bottle of ouzo, would show up drunk. It was great.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. I love it. Ouzo. I've never heard that one before.
I don't think most people would do that, but that was something that I did it once. It did wonders, but I'm not saying it will work for somebody else. That's just me.
Well, it's worth a shot. I'll give it a go before our next interview. Yeah. I used to play a lot of games as a young fella. As I said, I played a lot of Halo. In the early games, the voices were really, I don't know, they were really quite soulless, right? They were, and I think, it's changed a lot over the years, but do you still have to be like hyper consistent in your voice to make sure that, like day 1 to 3 months later, it's still the same exact character? How do you do that?
There are times where I've actually had to say, hey, can you just play me back some dialogue from when we first started? And then also what a lot of people don't realize, I mean, there's a lot of producers out there, whether it's music or VO or whatever, who are like, hey, just do it. I realize you can't hear yourself, but just do it and we'll fix it in post. And it's like, no. Just like the amp and the guitar and the pedals are all tools of the trade for the guitarist, the mic and the earphones are tools of the trade for the voice artist. I need to hear myself, and I need to hear myself as I'm being recorded and how I'm being recorded, so I can work with that. I don't know how close that got to answering your question, but
no, to be, you know what? It actually that's really interesting because as we said, I do voiceovers myself, and I fall in love with my own voice very easily, right? And so I've found over the years that when I'm in a session, I will often take the headphones off. Because otherwise I just go, hey, Eddie, how are you? And, you know, you just stop being natural. And I think, you know, the same with video games. It's not a voiceover. It's acting. And for me, you know, when I've got the headphones on, I find that really distracting. So I actually take them off.
For me, I don't know. I can joke around and then go right back into the character. But yeah, for me, the headphones on that's where I want to be because I want to use the tool. I mean, I want to use it as a tool, but that's me. And if you have another process or if you have another way of doing it, that's you. And that's the beauty of this experiment called life is we all run our programs differently, basically.
Look, you started with on-screen roles and now, you know, you do a lot of the video games. What was the transition like and how did that even happen?
Well, I was on a TV show called California Dreams as one of the main characters for 4 or 5 seasons or something like that. In the 90s. And then when that was over, I just kind of decided like, hey, I'd had enough of that business for a bit. And I got a job at Activision. And because I don't know if you remember, I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 53. Because video games were pretty new. Video games as we know it are fairly new. I mean, it's a fairly new thing, and voiceovers in video games was a fairly new thing. And because I was on the TV show, it was like, hey, we're doing this Interstate 76 Nitro Pack expansion. Can you do these voices for us? Hey, sure, why not? So pretty soon, I was just doing different ones here and there. The one for Deus Ex, I was actually just working at Deus Ex because I moved to Dallas. Don't ask me why, but anyway, I had moved to Dallas and I was working for Ion Storm, the company, who also put out Daikatana and that was ill-fated thing, but Daikatana and Deus Ex. And basically went out to dinner with the sound producer and dinner and drinks because we were doing a lot of overtime. So we were just kind of sitting there having some drinks and having some food. And he just said, hey, say this line. Say I'm going to rip off your head and on your neck. You know, in your meanest voice. And I just kind of said it the way I voiced JC, JC was very cybernetic. He was very almost an automaton, half human, half machine. So I kind of made him mostly machine. So I just kind of said it menacingly, but without malice. Matter of factly, this is what I'm going to do to you. And he was like, that's it. You want to do this? And I was like, do what? He said, because I was already working on the project, but I was like, you the voice of JC? He's like, yeah. So that's how that came about, basically. And then basically stuff after that, I've made myself pretty hard to find in respect to work. I don't want to do that anymore. But and now most of the stuff I get is just people who were big fans of either California Dreams television show or Deus Ex, who just call me up and say, hey, can you do this for us? So the last thing I did was Black Desert Online, their new expansion. I think it's Soul Morning Light expansion. And the producer is a fan, but also a friend. And he was just like, Jay, do this for me. And I was like, hey, no problem. So. Oh,
that's amazing. Isn't it? Yeah. Sorry. It's because for me, I mean, when I was talking with Rach about you, I was like, I don't know anything about video game voicing, and a lot of my students will come in and they go, I want to do anime, I want to do video games, and they go, where do we go? And I'm like, I don't actually know, to be honest, and particularly here in Australia, there's not a huge amount of it, and I think, what would you like? Because there are gamers that love it, and they can copy the voices and they can do that sort of stuff. What would you say to them? Where would you point them?
It depends. I mean, I've noticed in just the few months that I've decided, like, hey, let me see if I can get back into this out here now that I live in Australia, because I do live in Melbourne. And I've been here like 16 years. But just recently I was like, hey, let me see if I can get back into this. It's a very hard thing to break into. People are already kind of entrenched and there's known people who do the work and it's kind of hard to break in. But yeah, what I would do is just say, hey, look, either get a voice acting coach or a vocal coach of any sort, and learn to use your voice. And that's usually the first thing. And then once you do that, learn to mimic and create. And also along with that, one of the little advantages I have is as I come from a background of acting, and acting is empathy. And when you understand empathy, you can put yourself in the shoes of these characters that you're either creating or mimicking. So those are just little building blocks that I use in my head when I'm starting to do something. But as far as getting into it, I really don't know, because I'll have to talk to you about it, actually, because...
Well, what's the Australian industry, video game industry like? As I said, I have no idea. Tell me all about it. Does it exist? Is it big?
Yeah, it's big. It exists. There are companies out here making games. EA has a big office here. I think Activision has an office in Sydney. I'm in Melbourne. EA has an office in Melbourne that I used to work at. It exists. It's here. As far as voiceover stuff goes, a lot of it is that's, again, I was going to say I'd have to talk to somebody else, because I just decided recently, hey, maybe I'll start to get into it out here. And so far, pretty much what I've talked is, we're pretty much set with what we've got. And I'm okay, all right. So I'm not pushing hard, and I don't have representation. So it's, at the moment. Yeah, it's funny because I think it was Charlie Hunnam who said the Australian accent is so hard. He's like, you guys make sounds that nobody else makes. And I'm the same way. It's like, when people ask me, can I do the Australian accent? I'll go, yeah, sure. I can do that's hey, shit, mate, or whatever. But when it comes to just talking normally, it's you guys say home, and it's like, I have to say home, like you're just sitting there going, how do I? It's so weird, and it's not weird to hear it from you guys. It's just the way. It's just a different accent. But when you're trying to do it, you're saying this is not normal. You're like, is there a way that I have to hold my mouth? Because actually, it's funny, when I have tried to do Australian accents for real. The wife says you're the way you're holding your mouth changes. And I'm like, I've noticed that when people say certain words here, their mouth is different than mine, the way I say it. So I'm trying to figure out how their mouth is positioned when they're saying that word. And that is part of it. So like, if I was trying to do any kind of accent, like an Indian, I would actually look and see, like, how are they holding their mouth when certain things are being said. Same thing I've told people. I'm like, Australia is just like the US. It's like everybody sounds different in different parts. And even in Melbourne, I meet people from, like, I'll be talking to one person, and the person on this side sounds completely different than the person on this side, though they're the Australian accent. And especially when I'm listening to, again, it's something I've brought up to people, like, wow, I don't think you understand, like, how different people's accents differentiate from each other, just like it does in the States.
You would have had to do with your video games, you would have had to be a bit more gruffer, though. And I think more when people think Australian, where it's like gruffness, it's like more Russell Crowe, where they try and keep their bottom lip attached to their teeth, where it's like they're trying to keep the flies out, where it's just like mumbly, grumbly Australian.
And in the summer, you really are trying to keep the flies.
Yeah. So if there's any kind of wartime or like video games, like that's a hot tip, though, if you're trying to master the Australian accent, though, definitely right. Like more the gruffer blokes, though, have like the lip connecting to their teeth a little bit more, like.
Don't open your mouth. Don't open your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Which goes against everything we've ever done as a voiceover person. Don't open your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How do I do this? Yes. Keep your mouth shut. Oh,
okay. There you go.
So you're a part of the lovely convention Supanova. What's your favourite part of interacting with fans of your video games?
The fans of the video games and the fans of the TV show are different. The fans of the video games, like, there's this almost mystical, like you're almost a mythical / mystical being to a lot of them. I mean, because they've never seen the person unless they've looked me up and seen me online or whatever. But other than that, they've never seen me or they've seen my television, whatever. But if it's just a video game that they know me from, I mean, I've had people just come and be like, it is just to see you in person and then can you say this? And I'll say it, and they'll just they'll freak out. Like, oh my God, to actually see you say it is insane. It's absolutely crazy. The Deus Ex fan base is one of the most amazing ever. The original Deus Ex and that I did was 25 years ago, and this June is the 25th anniversary of the release. And there are still people making fans making mods for the game. There are still fans I'm doing a Ask Me Anything, an AMA on Reddit, just before I fly out to Sydney to see you guys. They're fantastic. And the thing is, they know more about the game than I do. And I worked on it. I played it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And they can tell you, they will stump me on so many things. It's not even funny. But yeah, no, they're a great bunch. Absolutely love the fact that they're still around and that the game has had such an impact on people as well.
That's such a fantastic response. We do a few little games on the show.
Oh, here we go. Sorry. Apologies in advance.
We're going to do a little voice off. So we pretty much name a topic and you can do whatever voice you want for the character. So say if I do Disney, I do Mickey Mouse and you do someone else from Disney.
I remember I'm coming off a cold, but I'll do my best.
Okay. So it's your time to shine. We are going to do a 90s cartoon. Anyone from a 90s cartoon?
A 90s cartoon? I don't even remember watching cartoons in the 90s.
God, I can't even think of anything. Will you give me a couple? What would there be?
Oh, I'm going to do Brittany from Daria.
Daria.
Who is Daria? Oh, wow. Okay. Go ahead.
She's like a perky little cheerleader American girl kind of thing. So she's like, oh, Keffy.
Okay, let me see if I can. So 90s, let me see if there's any that I can remember. 90s cartoons.
Rugrats was a good one. Remember Rugrats?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know any of these.
Oh, good. Oh, we're off to a terrific start.
Sorry.
I love this. Look at that. I think...
I can ask you a different question if that helps.
Let's we'll go with a different... Go to the next category, potentially. Can you voice an animal?
Can I voice...
Meh.
Oh, that was a terrific dolphin.
What's that?
Oh, big silly.
It's a sheep. Stop being...
No, that was a good sheep. I like that.
Good.
I think you were more a lamb.
Lamb.
Meh.
Anyone from Disney?
Anyone from Disney? Normally I just do Mickey, but I'm coming off the cold. How about if I...
I'll take it.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mickey.
Oh, hi, everybody. I'm Mickey Mouse.
Oh, that's...
See, there you go. That was brilliant. There we go. That's great.
amazing.
That's what we want. I like that. That's good.
How about your favorite Muppet?
Muppet? Oh, God. It's Piggy.
It's not easy being green.
It's not easy being green, yeah.
I'm Kermit the Frog here. Just reminding you, if you don't know what you're doing, that's okay. Anyway.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
I think, like, every guest we get is kicking my butt on these voices.
It's because we get professionals in.
He's got a handicap coming off a cold and he's still whooping my butt.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a job right now, I'd have to drink a lot of tea and go in and do it.
We've got a challenge for all our guests. So, you know, the whole inner world shtick, like with like inner world, like one man, like...
In a world, one man.
In a world gone mad, where, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we do a little fun challenge where we get our guests to do a trailer narration for this interview. So it could be in a funny voice or it could be in your own voice or whatever you want. We're giving you free range to have some fun with this.
Okay. So Eddie and Rachel, right? Hey, how you doing? This is Luigi. All right, I'm from the Bronx, and I just wanted to tell you guys that we are with Rachel and Eddie, and we are on the, what is this called again?
This is My Voice podcast.
This is My Voice podcast. And if you have not heard this podcast, you are missing the fuck out. Let me tell you something. This is something you have to fucking listen to, okay? And if you don't, I'm going to show up and we're going to have a little talk and I'm going to make you a little offer you can't refuse, okay? Thank you very much. See you later.
I love it. That's great. It reminds me of like a New York deli. I go in and get a tuna sandwich or something from him, you know.
Hey, you want a tuna with pickles? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'll have a tuna with pickles.
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
Forget about it. Bada bing, bada boom. What's that? Oh, I've got the ones I can do. I'm telling you, the Australian one is the hardest for me.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, to be honest. I thought the American one was the hardest because in Australia we're exposed to so much American content that we should be brilliant at it because we hear it all the time. But I still can't do it.
Well, that's the way I feel. I've been here 16 years. I've lived in Australia 16 years. I should be brilliant. I should be brilliant at the, how am I? How you going? This is Anthony Franke. I've been living here 16 years now. I don't feel like I'm hitting it at all.
That was okay. That was all right. That wasn't too bad. That was actually all right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Wow. Finally. Oh.
Thank you so much, Jay, for your time, and the folks here at Supanova. Thank you so much for allowing this wonderful interview to happen. We're really grateful for your time, and you can check Jay out at Supanova.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys taking the time, and I'll leave you with. Do you guys know Droopy?
Yeah.
Droopy Dog.
Yeah.
You what? I'm happy.
Thank you for listening to This Is My Voice, the podcast about all things voice performance with the world's best voice artists. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a review and don't forget to subscribe. This episode has been brought to you by the Australian Radio School and delivered to your ears by the Ozcast Network.